So, what's the anatomy of a California legislative resolution? In the California legislature, members of the state Senate and state assembly can introduce three types of resolutions. So, what are the component parts of these resolutions? Basically, in terms of an anatomy, a resolution contains the following provisions. The legislative session at the top of each bill language appears on top of the assembly version's California legislature and then the 2 year regular session date. Um, the only two items that change are the 2 year legislative session, and if there's an extraordinary or special session, then that is noted. The Senate does not have those. Then there's the resolution number, which follows the word House resolution for the Assembly, the Senate resolution for a single House reso in the Senate, Assembly concurrent resolution, Senate concurrent resolution, Assembly joint resolution, or Senate joint resolution. And the chief clerk of the Assembly and the secretary of the Senate, they're the ones who assign the resolutions their numbers for each resolution that's introduced in the respective House of Origin in the order in which it was received at the Assembly or Senate desk. As you would expect, the number remains the same throughout the entire legislative process, even when that measure is considered in the second House. Next comes the author or authors, the principal co-authors or the co-authors. Remember this rule that in the US Congress and in many state legislatures for that matter, the author of the bill is actually known and referred to as the sponsor. Of course, in the California legislature, the author is the legislator who is the author of the resolution or legislative measure. And the first line always lists the main author who is principally responsible for introducing the legislation or the resolution in this case. And below that first line, we'll list the principal co-author, the next line, the co-author. One list is used for the House of Origin co-authors, and another is used for the co-authors from the other House. Then we have the date introduced as well as any date, amendment dates, and the House, of course, making the amendment. We have a resolution title, which is a short phrase, also includes the relating clause. It begins with the phrase relative to, and the title of the resolution encompasses the subject matter that's contained in that resolution. And then there's the Legislative Council's digest, which merely states what the resolution would do. And then the digest key, which contains only a fiscal key for either a joint or concurrent resolution. And then the resolution text is the actual text of the resolution, containing one or more whereases clauses and then two resolved clauses. And so those are, in a simplistic form, the main provisions that make up the anatomy of a resolution in the California state legislature.